Hey everyone, how's it going? Zach D Productions here, and I'm here with an album ranking video for you guys. So for this ranking, I'm going to be ranking the studio albums from rock legends Incubus. So I think Incubus overall had a pretty solid discography. A couple of albums that are, you could say, mixed bags, but I wouldn't say that any of their albums are straight up bad by any means. So let's go ahead and get into this ranking. We're going to go from worst to best based on my opinion. Also, keep in mind, I will not be including live albums, EPs, or anything like that. Just the main studio albums. So let's go ahead and get started with what I have last in this ranking, which I do not have in my collection currently, which is S.C.I.E.N.C.E, which is technically their latest album. Yeah, this album, it's okay at best, I think. I really don't remember much from this album, if I'm being honest, after listening to it, but I won't say that it's all bad. I mean, the songs themselves, they're not bad, but they're just kind of forgettable, and that's what you will get with the last couple of Incubus albums, so that's kind of unfortunate that that's, how they went, where, it seems like they're kind of running out of ideas, you could say, for songs and such. So that's kind of what you get here. A lack of unique song ideas and just not very memorable. So 8 coming in last. So next in this ranking, I got to go with their debut album, Fungus Among Us, which I will admit, it's a pretty fun album for sure. I mean, this was around the time when nu metal was very big, so I'm sure they wanted to do something with that with this album, which is something that you will get with the first couple of Incubus albums, because this type of music was really big at this time. Now, this album here, they are just starting off, so, sometimes with debut albums, they start off very strong in some bands' careers, and then some others, they don't start off the strongest. And in this scenario, they haven't really started off the strongest, but still, not a bad album. I mean, there is some really good songs on here. Take Me to Your Leader is probably my favorite on here. A really fun song. So, Fungus Among Us, decent, but definitely not one of their best. So next, we have If Not Now, When? Which I think this album's biggest problem is it is rather boring. But there are some songs on here that I do like, especially the title track, If Not Now, When? I also do like Adolescence as well. That's another pretty solid song. So, yeah, but again, I think this album's biggest problem is it's rather boring. It's not very upbeat, kind of slow, you could say. You could say it kind of drags on, like not really a whole lot of variety in the songs or anything. Like, you could tell they toned it down a little bit with this album, but it's still decent for what it is, I think. It's definitely not all bad, so If Not Now, When? Overall, just another decent album. I know it's a mixed bag for many, and I know this would be last in many Incubus fans' ranking, but for me, it's coming in here. So next, we got A Crow Left of the Murder. Pretty good album. I mean, these songs are definitely not bad. They're pretty solid songs for the most part. Good enough song ideas, good enough songwriting in of itself, but just not among the best work from Incubus. So, with this album, though, you do get some good songs. The title track I do like, A Crow Left the Murder, Sick Sad Little World, I do like as well. Definitely one of my favorites on here. But yeah, you can definitely tell this is a massive step down from what came before it, which is Morning View, which we'll get to that here soon. So, A Crow Left of the Murder, good album, but I won't say great. So next, we got Light Grenades, which is a really strong album, actually. Definitely a major step up, in my opinion, from A Crow Left of the Murder. I think this album has better songwriting, more enjoyable tracks. I do like A Kiss to Send Us Off, Dig, great song for sure. You could say one of their best songs. It's probably one of my favorite Incubus songs. I could honestly say the same for Love Hurts, definitely one of my favorite Incubus songs. Really dig the melody in that song. You also have the title track as well, which is pretty good. So yeah, there's some very strong songs on this album. So and good song variety too. You know, you got some more upbeat tracks. You got tracks that are really reliant on the melody, which I do like, and I of course do like some songs with some good melody, and this album has that. So yeah, really good album for sure. So Light Grenades. So next, I know a lot of Incubus fans would probably have this at number 1. Now, number 3 and number 2 do go back and forth for me personally, because these are both classics, both great albums for sure. But at number 3, we have Make Yourself, which is definitely an Incubus classic for sure. Really, you can't go wrong with any of the songs on this album. I, of course, do like Privilege, Nowhere Fast. You also have When It Comes. And their biggest song, Drive. Great track for sure. I dig the melody in that song. And it's a fun song to listen to for sure. And you also have Stellar and Clean, the title track. Really, you can't go wrong with anything on this album for sure. So, yeah. So, Make Yourself, great album. So number 2, we have Science, which is, again, like with Fungus Among Us, it is part of that whole 90s sound. Like, they took a lot of inspiration from nu metal, you could say, especially on this album. I think they really amped that up in particular with this album. But I do think that this album is honestly a major step up from Fungus Among Us. Really strong album for sure. Definitely one of their best. And in my opinion, it's their second best album. Redefine, definitely one of their best songs. I also really like Vitamin. You also have New Skin and Idiot Box. A Certain Shade of Green, probably another one of my favorite Incubus songs. So, yeah, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Really good songwriting. Just fun songs. These are just fun songs for sure. So, if you haven't listened to this one, definitely give it a listen. So at number 1, for me, this was a no-brainer. This, for as long as I've been an Incubus fan, which hasn't been very long because I didn't get into them till like earlier this year, but ever since then, this has remained my favorite album from Incubus, and that is Morning View, which is a really strong album. You can't go wrong with any of the songs on this album. Some of their best work is found on this album. Nice to Know You, easily one of my favorites Incubus songs, and you could honestly say one of their best album openers too. Great track for sure. You also got Circles, Wish You Were Here, another personal favorite Incubus song of mine. Just a Phase is really good, 11 a.m. You also have Echo, which has some really strong melody for sure. If you like melody, definitely check out the song Echo. Honestly, probably another one of my favorite Incubus tracks. Warning is another good song, and Are You In? I also dig as well. But again, not a weak song on this album, so there you have it. Morning View, great album, and in my opinion, easily Incubus's best album. So Morning View is coming in at number 1. So that is my ranking for the Incubus albums. Feel free to let me know what you think. How would you rank this band's discography? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Are you a fan of Incubus? Feel free to let me know. So with that said, thank you for watching. Have a good one.